Hi everyone and welcome again to another episode of Techie and Cyber Aware. Today we're going to be doing a deep dive on how to set up your own lab. Are you excited? Yes, I am. In my previous video, I had done a very brief run through of how to quickly mount an image from Kali directly and then run on your PC, which I said had a little bit of restrictions. So today we're going to be touching on how to, customize or configure your own home lab to suit your purpose and your need. Um, Without further ado, let's dive in. So the first step will be to download the image, which we'd get from Kali, installer image, and then we'll just select what we need. So we're downloading the installer image now. Now that the installer image is fully downloaded, we are launching our VM, doing the settings. If you don't know how to do this, you can check my previous videos. So now I have just created an additional VM in my VirtualBox, and I'm just setting up the necessary configurations in terms of RAM size, expected tick size, and now that I am done with that, what I want to do is to launch the VM and mount the image I have just downloaded. Before we get to that, I just want to do a few more configurations like modify the display, choose the mount disk file, and set up the system configurations as well, enable it to be able to do clip, copy and paste, set up my network configuration, which I have set up to bridge adapter so that it can pick the network configuration of the PC the VM is currently running on. After that is done, we want to start our VM. VM has been started. We're gonna follow through the entire installation process. So here I'm doing a graphical install so that I can understand and see what I am doing, which is very user friendly in case you're not familiar with the CLI commands or terminal interface. To get to that, once our VM is powered on, so it's asking what language: English selected, United Kingdom selected, British English selected for the keyboard. We're gonna wait for the installer to continue. So now the installation is done, network configuration is being carried on. Now, what name do we want to give our PC? You pick any name of your choice. I usually prefer to use something without a space in between, especially with systems like Linux. After which you set your password, um, and the installation is going to continue at this stage. So we want to set our partition, and now that this is done as well, we want to save the changes. So now it's installing the base system, especially with required packages or basic packages that would need to run our Kali usually. These installations usually take time, so I had to speed up the video so as not to bore us or take too much of our time. So it is important to note that when you're running it on your own hand, it's not going to be as fast as this. It's going to take a while, so just hang in there and think of the end goal. So now we want to select the software we want to run. I'll leave it as default value, and now it's installing the software. This will also take a very long time, but we just need to hang in there and wait for the installation to be complete. It is important to note that this entire process takes much longer than the previous video that I had shown, and the reason is because with these you're able to customize your configuration. Take for instance, we had created the username and we had set up our password, as compared to the previous video where it was a default password, username and password, which of course, being techie and cyber aware, obviously we are aware that that is not a good practice. So now when we are able to customize our own configuration, we are able to control the security, we are able to control certain protocols and access management with respect to external surface attacks or um, you know cyber criminals. Basically, we know that Kali is an open source software, but it the beauty of open source is that it also gives us some leverage to be able to customize things to the extent that it suits our use case or our needs. um that aside, let's get back to our installation. So we can see some of the installations going on. So it's installing Python. I'm seeing MariaDB. I'm seeing, you know, a number of dependencies have been installed at this point, services and all that would require for the full functionality of Kali Linux. So we'll just wait for this to be done. It's almost there. So this seemed to be done. It wants to install a bootloader as well, so we'll let it finish install the bootloader, and now it's finishing the installation. It says it's installed VirtualBox guest installation as well. So our installation is complete. Now that all is done, the system would restart. And our system is restarting now. We'll input our username and password that we have created, not the default one this time around. And voila, we have a Kali Linux screen. This is just to complete the guest installation that we had started towards the end of the installation screen. So configuration, we would select yes or no depending on our use case. So we're going to leave it to continue. So basically, we guest installation, it helps us to be able to perform certain configurations like set up a copy and paste clipboard, um you know also be able to navigate into our directory folder from within our PC, even though we are running on a VM. Now the installation is done, we are rebooting the Kali. Yeah, thank you so very much, and see you all in the next episode. Bye for now.